Long ago, 4 nations lived in peace. But everything changed when a meteorite fell on the water nation. This meteorite disrupted the balance of the world and ushered in an era of glaciations. Only the Avatar, the master of all elements, could stop this catastrophe. But when the world needed him most, he disappeared. Many years later, a young bender named Kaen emerged from the Fire Nation. Although Kaen is a powerful firebender, he still has much to learn to restore the world's balance. But I believe that Kaen can save the world. Episode 2, In the Shadow of the Glacier. Weeks after the meteorite's impact, changes to the world begin to take hold. The glaciers spread beyond the water nation and begin to send cold waves of air across the world. The Fire Nation, in their lands that are always hot and burning, is faced with an unfamiliar cold. As the temperature drops rapidly, the winds become harsher, and the freezing cold begins to strain the nation's resources. Kaen does his best to help his family during these difficult times. His family lives in a rural area of the Fire Nation, making a living from farming. However, the cold waves affect the farmland, plants have difficulty growing, and food supplies begin to deplete rapidly. As Kaen and his family work in the fields, he tries to open up the frozen ground and fight the icy winds. Kaen tries to use his firebending abilities to cope with the cold, but this time the power of fire is not what it used to be. It becomes difficult to control fire and keep it alive at all times. Kaen feels a growing restlessness inside him. It seems as if the fire is no longer enough for him. He feels something changing inside him, but he can't quite figure out what it is. One day, while Kaen is trying to thaw the frozen plants around him using his firebending abilities to provide for his family, he feels an unexpected explosion of power inside him. Suddenly, his ability to control fire becomes more intense than ever before. Kaen notices that the flames emitting from his hands are growing stronger. However, this power turns into an energy that is difficult to control. Kaen is both surprised and startled by this sudden explosion of power. The flames momentarily lose his control and burn the frozen plants around him to ashes. As Kaen tries to understand what has happened, he senses that this event has a much deeper meaning than a simple empowerment. This new power awakening within him seems to contain much more than the power of an ordinary firebender. Kaen realizes that he must not only survive in this new world order, but also understand and control this new power. This event marks the beginning of Kaen's inner journey. As the Fire Nation's resources run out and the world changes rapidly, Kaen begins to explore himself and his abilities more deeply. Kaen wonders if this explosion of power has something to do with the meteorite's fall, and perhaps he begins to understand that he has been given a great task to restore balance to the world. However, he is not yet sure whether he can accept this responsibility. The path ahead for Kaen is full of uncertainty and danger.